Alright, so this is the new Realme GT6. The price tag for this phone is Rs 35,999, but without the offers and discounts, the actual starting price is Rs 40,999, and Realme is marketing this phone as a flagship killer. But is it really a flagship killer? Well, we will have to find out. And this is going to be interesting because there are other phones in this price segment as well, like the Xiaomi 14CV and the OnePlus 12R, which are actually flagship killers. So we will have to see how the Realme GT6 performs against these two phones. But first, let's talk about the camera. So this phone has three rear cameras: a 50 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization, a 50 megapixel telephoto camera with 2x zoom, and an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera. And these are some camera samples taken with this phone in daylight conditions. As compared to the OnePlus 12R, this phone performs better in daylight conditions. If you want to capture natural colors, you should use the main camera. In good lighting conditions, the main camera takes clear and sharp photos with accurate colors. It has a good dynamic range, which means it can capture details in both highlights and shadows. Low light performance is also good, and the night mode gives you clear images with very less noise. Now, if you don't know what noise means, just look at this image. The image on the right has more noise than the image on the left, and you can clearly see the difference. The ultra wide camera on this phone is good enough, but it does not have the same level of detail and sharpness as the main camera, and the colors are a bit too saturated as well. That's why I told you that if you want to capture more natural colors, use the main camera. The telephoto camera on this phone is mainly for portrait shots, and it has a good edge detection. The camera system supports up to 4K recording at 30 fps. This phone has a 32 megapixel front facing camera which does a good job in daylight conditions, but it is not that good in low light. Now, let's talk about the processor. The Realme GT6 comes with a Snapdragon 8s Gen 3 processor. You can play games like Call of Duty, BGMI and Genshin Impact without any lag, frame drops or overheating. Basically, the main target audience for this phone is heavy users and gamers. And if you are someone who edits photos or videos on your phone, then you know how much time it takes to process. But with this phone, you don't have to worry about that. The Antutu benchmark score for this phone is also slightly higher than the Xiaomi 14CV and the OnePlus 12R. This phone has a 5500 mAh battery and it supports 120 watt fast charging. It goes from 0 to 100% in just 28 minutes, and you can play PUBG on this phone for 8 hours on a single charge. Talking about the design, this phone has a silver panel at the back, and in this panel there are 3 cameras. It has a smooth finish and tends to gather a lot of fingerprints and dust. It has a plastic frame, and because this phone has a curved display, it feels super thin. This phone comes in 2 color options, fluid silver and razor green. In my opinion, the Xiaomi 14CV and the OnePlus 12R have a better design than this phone. This phone has a 6.78-inch curved AMOLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate and 6000 nits of peak brightness, which is totally crazy. If you want a comparison, the peak brightness of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is 2000 nits. The bezels on this phone are also really thin, which makes gaming and watching videos immersive. This phone also has a 120 fps mode for playing PUBG and Call of Duty. This phone has a lot of AI features as well. For example, the AI Smart Loop. It is a feature that will automatically identify repetitive tasks in your daily usage and create shortcuts for them. For example, if you often open the same 3 apps in a row, AI Smart Loop can create a shortcut that opens all 3 apps with a single tap. There is an AI Smart Removal tool which allows you to remove unwanted objects from your photos. Then you also have the AI Night Vision mode, which allows you to capture clear and bright photos in low light conditions. It runs on Realme UI 5, which is based on Android 14. This phone comes in three configurations. First is 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. Then you have 12 GB RAM plus 256 GB of storage. And finally, you have 16 GB of RAM and 512 GB of storage. So, is the Realme GT6 a flagship killer? The answer is yes. It has a powerful processor, an incredible display, a large battery, and an excellent camera. I don't think there's anything else you need from a flagship killer. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.